Doctor, welcome to the program. Glad you're here.
It's nice to be back. I think it's only been a few hours since I was on last.
I know. Well, I want to make sure that you are getting the funding that you need to be able to monitor. You said yesterday while you were on that there is something new that you have discovered that they look like they're doing. We're talking Google, Facebook, anybody with an algorithm and a social media platform, YouTube, Twitter. And you're saying that there's something new they're doing that is really insidious. You want to explain?
Yes, and just to preface that, let me point out that I study these effects. After I discover them, which is hit and miss, I have to say. But I study these effects one at a time. I think I just got to make this point. In other words, I find out something that can shift opinions, like bias in search results or bias in search suggestions, or those little answer boxes that they show you at the top of a page of search results, or bias in news feeds, whatever it is. I study these things one at a time. But in reality, they're all being used at the same time. And so I don't even know what happens when you have, 5, 6, 7, 8 different types of manipulation running simultaneously. So now with that preface, let me say that the new technique that we are following now, that we're studying and trying to quantify, we call it YME, the YouTube manipulation effect. It turns out that YouTube is possibly the most powerful manipulation tool
I believe that.
In the online manipulation universe. And I first started getting concerned when a 2-minute video was leaked a few months ago from Google. It shows the head of YouTube, Susan Wojcicki, talking to her staff. This is literally someone who improperly recorded her and then walked out with the video. And she's talking to her staff, and she is showing diagrams up on a big screen, and she is saying that after the 2016 election, we decided we better straighten out our YouTube algorithm. This is Google's secret up next. It's called the up next algorithm, the one that suggests the video you should watch next. And she explains we're aggressively altering our up next algorithm that suggests what you should watch by pushing up in ranking, and she's got a big up arrow, the content, the videos that we think are authoritative, and pushing down, and she's got a big down arrow, pushing down the videos that we think are not authoritative. And I thought, wow, that's pretty blatant.
Yeah, because I wonder how they put Bernie Sanders. Is he authoritative or not?
Well, that's the thing. You see, unless this is all ephemeral stuff. Meaning,
right.
It's just generated on the fly just for you. And who keeps track of the sequence? I mean, no one does. So unless we're tracking this, we don't really know for sure what they're showing people. You have to track this stuff. You have to monitor. But then I learned that currently around the world, and this blew me away, 70% of the videos that people watch on YouTube are suggested by that up next
Unbelievable.
Algorithm. 70%. So what this means is Google has the power to send people down rabbit holes, literally send them down rabbit holes by watching a sequence of videos. And of course, people have no idea that there's any bias associated with these videos.
So
go ahead.
I just want to say, there's this old movie, I'm sure you remember it, maybe you don't, The Manchurian Candidate, where they had indoctrinated somebody and they had taken him and really done a number on him to get him to believe certain things, that he had to go and kill somebody. And for years I have said, Google in time will have the power because they'll be able to target, and I'm not suggesting they're doing this, but they could target individuals because they would know more about that individual than that individual knows. And you could sway them one way or another to do good or to do evil, whatever it is. But that Manchurian Candidate, this is technology now that in the 1950s, our CIA and the Soviets would have killed to have, to be able to manipulate not just one individual, but a lot of individuals, maybe an entire country or world, and move them in one direction or another. This has never, ever been able to be done anything like this. Am I getting this right?
Yes, that's the last element here that makes this so scary, is that Google has, if you've been using the internet for, you and I we're as old as dirt. So if you have been using the internet for 20 years, Google has the equivalent of 3 million pages of information about you. 3 million pages. It sounds impossible, but it's actually true. There was actually a study done by The Guardian in the UK looking at the quantity of information that Google has. So they know exactly who you are. They know how to influence you. And the point is, if you ever get on YouTube, they can take you in any direction they want if you're vulnerable. In other words, if you're undecided on some issue, they can take you down a rabbit hole. But the point is, we are actually in the process now. It's extremely exciting what we're doing of attaching numbers to this effect. In other words, we're actually measuring very, very precisely how much power this technique has to shift opinions, to shift purchases, to shift votes. And I won't have solid numbers, I think, until sometime in April. But the point is, we've got the thing running now. It's taken months to set this up. And it's tremendously, tremendously exciting because, again, who is studying this? Who's quantifying this?
Nobody.
Right. And of course, what I want to do is, if I can get the resources, is I want to monitor this in those final months leading up to the 2020 election, because I am quite certain that given the level of individual targeting that Google and to some extent Facebook, to a lesser extent Twitter, given the individual targeting that they can do, given how much they know about you, that means they can identify state by state by state, swing state by swing state, swing county by swing county. They can identify who the vulnerable people are, who the people are who are not yet committed, who have not yet decided, and they, at an individual level, can use a dozen or more subliminal techniques to shift their opinions and their voting preferences with no one knowing that they're doing so and without leaving a paper trail for authorities to trace.
All right. I want to give your address because I cannot recommend strongly enough that if you have money and you want to be involved in something, we free slaves with the Nazarene Fund and with OUR. We have been doing, work in different places all around the world and in the country, just helping people get back on their feet with Mercury One. This is critical for democracy and for our republic. If we lose the vote and we are being manipulated without our knowledge, without any measurement on it, we are done as a free people. I want you to go to mygoogleresearch.com and make a pledge to help, even if it's $5, if you can do one, every month, whatever you can do. I need you to help him put this together, and he needs a ton of money. We're going to need a lot of people doing this. Please go to mygoogleresearch.com and help Dr. Epstein monitor. This will be the whole ball of wax. We lose this, we lose everything. Doctor, we'll talk to you tomorrow on the TV show. Thank you so much.